In this video, we'll take a look at the directory template and how to use it. The directory template enables you to create an app that gives your users the ability to quickly find key people in their organisation and learn about colleagues. In this video, we'll take a look at an overview of the directory template and its features, and in section 2, we'll take a look at how to configure the directory template. So, what are the key features? There are two main user types for the directory, so you'll have the user and the admin. For the user, there'll be access to an org chart, office information, events information. Users will be able to connect to other users, view custom contact lists for projects, events and social activities, and create and view user status. Admins will be able to manage and create user profiles, manage and edit offices, manage communication, enabling them to send notifications, and manage and configure app security rules. The template starts with an onboarding screen which will guide the user through what to expect and get them straight to the terms and conditions, and then ultimately the login screen. You can set the login as a regular email and password, or you can use single sign-on and use your corporate login. Those can both be configured when setting up the app. There's some instructions for getting started and importing information into the app, and some mobile installation instructions also. If the user was to open the directory on a mobile device, then they'll be directed to install the mobile version of the app. You can also include a registration screen if you wish to enable self-sign-up. So if we jump into the main screen, which is obviously the directory, you'll see here a list of any users that are registered on the directory. You can use the quick links here to email, phone, or save the user. If you click save, you can then filter by saved users. You can sort by department, country, skills. Any data that is stored in the data source can be used to filter the list. And you can also sort by first name, last name, or office. Again, this can be configured to include multiple options. Clicking on a user will take you to their profile. Here you'll see some quick links for the user, so email, phone and chat, LinkedIn profile, and more. And then as you scroll down, you'll see the most relevant contact information. This can be configured to include as much or as little information as you require. So you'll see the country that they're in, so clicking on this link will apply the filter to the directory, and you'll see any other users that are located in the same area. Returning back to the profile, you'll see detail of the user's manager and some more information. Clicking about will give you some more detailed information such as bio, birthday, skills, etc. And again, clicking these will apply a filter to the directory where you can then see other users with the same skills. Private will be information that is only accessible by certain users, potentially HR or admins, and here you'll see a little bit more information about the user that is not accessible for everyone. So employee number, contact details, address, etc. If you are viewing the directory on web, then this is how the screen will appear. So similar setup but with double columns. You can use the search bar to search for any users, and clicking on a user will open an overlay where you can see more information across the screen. Next up, we'll take a look at the org chart. This enables users to navigate through the organisational chart of the company. So selecting a user will allow you to open the org chart. And here you'll be able to work through the users, take a look at who their manager is, and anyone with any direct reports will have a number below, which if you select, the user becomes selected, and then you'll see anyone that reports into that user. You can navigate through the chart by selecting each person, and that will show you their position and anyone that reports into them. Clicking on a user will enable you to view their profile, where you can then view all contact information. You can also view the org chart in web view, so clicking back here, this is how the organisation chart will display on web, so just across a wider screen, but it works in the exact same way. You can use the mouse to scroll, and clicking on a user will direct you through the organisation chart, and again, viewing the profile will just bring you to the overlay that we saw previously. Let's take a look at lists. In the directory, you can choose to add a user to a list. So clicking plus on my list will enable you to create a list. This could be perhaps a group of staff, for example, project managers or chess clubs, and users can be added by the directory screen or the My List button in the menu. You'll click on the user that you would like to add to the list and click the plus button as we just have. We have no existing list, so there's nothing here, but we can create perhaps project 1, and you can choose to make the list private and not enable colleagues to add any other users, or you can enable colleagues to add other users, meaning that anyone can be added by any user in the list. Once you save and add the user, a list will be created, and you can access this from the My List button in the menu. So here you'll see the existing list, and clicking in there will show you any users that are part of that list that you have created. Returning back to My List, you can create a new list by clicking the plus button and naming the list, so perhaps project 2. This time we won't enable colleagues to manage the list, which will make the list private. So you'll see here that this is a private list that only you can add colleagues to. Next up, we'll take a look at offices. So this will display a list of any offices. You can click each one to be given all the relevant information, and the links here can be configured with a phone number, a map to detail the location, a link to meeting rooms, key contacts for the office. In this instance we have linked Uber, so you can book an Uber to the location. However, you can link any other ride services and a floor plan. Information can be added to detail some more information, such as opening times and parking information, and below you'll see a list of any facilities for the office. This can all be amended using the edit and manage office forms that we will talk about when we look at the admin access. Clicking meeting rooms will show you a list of any associated meeting rooms for the office, and clicking that meeting room will again show you a list of facilities and some more information. This list, as well as the offices list, can be filtered and sorted, and the search bar can be used to narrow down the list. Next we will look at My Status. So here a user can update and indicate to their colleagues their current status. So pressing the plus button will enable them to set a new status. So the user can select from one of the pre-configured options. These can be updated as an admin, and we'll take a look at that shortly. But if we just select vacation for now, you'll be able to add a description, a start date and an end date, and an optional start and end time. Once you submit the status, that will be uploaded, and when any user views you in the directory, they will see your current status, which in this case will be vacation. You can add multiple statuses ahead of time, and you can again use the search and filter options for this list. When viewing a user in the directory, the status will be displayed if they have one. Next, we will take a look at events. So this will show a list of any internal events. Clicking on an event will open all the relevant information. You can find a description, links to the event, an email for the manager, and address, but as much information can be included here as required. And again, the list can be sorted. Next up, we have the notifications inbox. Here, any notifications that are sent to the user can be found. And the profile. A user can edit their own profile, so clicking on profile will allow them to do so. Existing information included, and this can be updated or amended, and once the user has made any changes, they should just click submit and the profile data will be saved. Recent hires shows a list of anyone that start date is after today. Now let's jump over to the admin menu. This option will only be available to anyone with admin permissions within the directory. So here you'll have a full list of admin options. Starting with manage users, this is where you will go to view and manage the user profiles in the app. So clicking on the list will take you straight to the directory, but you'll be able to click on a user and then scroll to the bottom where you'll be able to edit or delete an existing user. Clicking edit will give you limited access to their profile data, where only certain fields can be changed and updated. So you'll be able to set the user as an admin, update their preferred name and their pronunciation and any pronouns. This form can be edited to include additional fields that the admin user should be able to update and amend. Next we have bulk import users, so this will enable you to add profile data to the app in bulk. Clicking this will enable you to upload a file and then choose to add the users once you have done so. So if you have a CSV export of users to be added to your directory, you can upload that here and click add users. Next up we have Manage Directory Security Rules. Admins can use this screen to set up rules around any sensitive data in the people data source. So you can view existing rules here. They cannot be edited, but they can be deleted, and then you can use this button to add a new rule. So for example, you may want to set a rule that includes anyone in the office that is equal to London will have their home address visible to any user whose title equals manager. Once you've set your rule, you can click to save and the rule will be added to the list. You can click to test the security rule by clicking here, and this way you can choose the rule to test to make sure users are seeing the correct data. You will need to select the person that you want to test as and then a profile to review. Back to the admin menu, we next have Manage Office. So here you'll see a list of all the existing offices and you can simply click an office to be shown the information and click Edit to change it. This will load the form with all the current data included and this can be edited and amended. So there's simple fields such as name, key contacts, image, all the relevant location information, opening times, further detail, and then you'll see the facilities option. So here you can click Pick Facilities. This is a pre-configured list. However, you can add more facilities as an admin user, which we will take a look at shortly. So if we select Canteen, then we can save this and confirm that this office has a canteen. Once you click in the office, you'll now see in the list of facilities that Canteen is included. Next is Meeting Rooms. This works the exact same way as the offices, and clicking the screen will enable you to edit the existing data or delete it. Clicking the plus button will enable you to add a new meeting room to the office. You can select another and you'll include a name, a floor, capacity, and again picking those facilities that are included. You can multi-select to include more than one, and if you want to add an image you can do that here. Once you save the meeting room, that will be added to the list. Next up is facilities. So here you can find a list of the existing facilities. These are set by default, but you can remove any by clicking on those to edit or delete, and you can add a new facility by clicking the plus button here. So perhaps you want to add that there's a water fountain. Here you'll be able to add an icon for the facility, so you can use fontawesome.com to add an additional icon, and if we take a look at them, there are a multitude of different icons available. You can search for an icon, so in this instance we'll search for water, and you'll just need to take the word after the FA and add that. Once you submit the facility, that'll be added, and you can now include this when you are creating meeting rooms or offices. Next is managing the app security. So this is where you can configure your app security rules. This screen should only be used once, and it's to set up your app security rules when you're ready to begin testing or launch. So the screen will set up 2 security rules in your app. You can enforce login security and you can enforce user role security. This is ensuring that the user must log in to access private screens, and the admin users are the only users that can access the admin screens. You'll need to complete this form to include screens to exclude unless you are logged in. So normally we recommend all screens are not visible before anyone has logged in, and if they're not logged in, if they have a link to any other screen, which screen that they should be redirected to. Normally the login screen. You should also include here a screen which the users should be directed to once they're logged in. So for this example we have included the directory, and you should set whether you're using the Fliplet data source login component to log in or your single sign-on account. Once you submit, this will be added to your app. Next up is Manage Communications. So this is where you can send new communications to users. You can choose a communication, such as test, and whether you want them to go via email or push notification or both, just select and unselect each one. You can target specific users if you wish by selecting a single department, and then here you will set the email subject and the email content. And if you are choosing to add push notifications, then you'll need a message title and message content. You can select to save this message to return to it at a later date, send it as a test to view how it will look, or go ahead and send to users. If you choose to save, this will be added to your drafts, which you can then access at a later date. And finally, view past communications. So here you'll see any drafts as we just spoke about, or any previous communication. By clicking on a previous communication, you can click to edit if you want to make changes before sending it again, or duplicate to have a copy. You can also choose to delete to remove it completely from the app. So that's a run through of the template in Studio. Now we'll just take a look at some configuration options for the template. This part of the video assumes that you already know how to use Fliplet Studio, you understand how to use our components and how to launch and update apps. If you need any further assistance with these items, then you can visit our help centre where you can find some detailed information, or use the Get Started video guide to help you through. So to add the directory template to your account, you'll need to log into Fliplet Studio, create a new app and select directory. When customising your app, you may want to think about branding your app, adding or removing some screens and features, updating the screen content, as there is a lot of placeholder information in the app template at the moment, and potentially updating some components. We'll just jump over to Studio now to take a look at some of the configuration options. You can update the appearance of your app by using the theme appearance options. Here you can apply brand colours or themes by using multiple settings to apply these to your app. When changing the settings, these will apply across the entire app so that you can quickly brand your app. Perhaps you want to change the highlight colour to a red. Once you've done so, the highlight colour will be updated throughout your whole entire app. Other items that you may want to look at include my status. So we mentioned there are some pre-configured statuses when updating them, but if you use the Manage My Status form, you can click to edit and include more options for status updates. So in here, we have the vacation, sick leave, maternity and paternity leave, but you can add multiple options, perhaps jury duty. And when you are done, make sure to click Save and Close. And now when adding a new status, this will be available to add. We spoke previously about managing facilities, so you can do that here, but you will need to enter preview mode and click Add to apply any new facilities. Or alternatively, you can use the data source to add multiple facilities at one time. Click on the settings and open the data source. And here you'll be able to just add the name and the icon name as we spoke about earlier. You can update the profile information by using the Edit Profile form, and the Admin Edit User option with the limited form can be updated by clicking here and using the form settings to add additional fields. Finally, the directory has a lot of placeholder content so that you are able to see how it works. However, you may want to look at amending this. If you simply click the directory, you can access the data source here, or you can use the App Data button on the right and click the Directory People data source, where you'll see a full list of users. This will need to be changed, and you can either input your information using the data source or use the Import Users option, which we spoke about earlier, which you can do in preview mode, or you'll find some instructions in the Excel import screen here. Finally, you will want to configure your users and your user type. We have a regular user and admin who will have admin permissions within the app. To configure this, jump back to the app data and clicking on People. When you have added the required information to the app, you can find the admin field by either searching admin or scrolling along the bar, but anyone with a yes in the admin column will be granted admin permissions. Make sure when you make changes to click Save Changes and then exit the data source. And that's it. So if you need any further assistance with the directory template, you can review our support site at help.fliplet.com and search directory. You'll see a full rundown of each screen in the app and some more information. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact our support team on support@fliplet.com or using the live chat within Studio.